You are a defense contractor for the U.S. government. 12 years reviewing weapons procurement. You know the suppliers. You know the buyers. You know exactly how the money moves, who signs off, and why certain shipments get approved while others sit on a desk for 6 months. You are good at your job. You have always been good at your job. Then one Friday afternoon, your supervisor calls you into a conference room. You walk in expecting a budget review. There are 2 people from HR sitting at the table. Your supervisor cannot look you in the eye. The government contract your division has operated under for 12 years has not been renewed. The work is being moved to a cheaper firm overseas. Your entire team is being let go, effective immediately. You ask if there is anything you can do. A transfer, a different role, anything. They slide a severance package across the table. 3 months' pay, 12 years of your life. 3 months' pay. You carry the box to your car alone. Nobody comes to say goodbye. The building security card stops working before you reach the parking lot. 3 months later, the savings are gone. Your wife left 6 weeks ago. She said she had been patient long enough. You did not argue because she was right. The apartment is too big for one person. The bills are not. You send applications every week. Nobody calls back. You are 41 years old in an industry that wants 30-year-olds at half the salary. You are not angry anymore. You are just out of options. Then your phone rings. Old colleague from your contracting days. He asks how you are doing. You say fine. He laughs like he already knows the truth. He says he has something. A private client. Needs someone who understands procurement. Someone who knows how export licenses work, how shipping documents get filed, how to move hardware across borders cleanly and quietly. You ask how much. 20,000. One deal. You are 3 months behind on rent. You say yes before he finishes the sentence. The first deal is clean. 50 rifles. Standard issue. Export license filed properly. License broker in Prague handles the shipping. Government stamps on every page. This is the same work you did for 12 years. Just private sector now. The 20,000 lands on a Tuesday morning. You pay the rent. You buy groceries. You sleep better than you have in months. Then you make another call. Within 6 months, you have 3 clients. A security firm in West Africa. A contractor in the Gulf. A logistics company in Eastern Europe you have learned not to ask too many questions about. The money is not 20,000 anymore. 200,000 per shipment. You get an office. You hire a lawyer. You put your name on the door. You are not a criminal. You are a private defense broker. There is a difference. You know exactly where that line is. For now. Then one client asks for something different. Not rifles. Rocket-propelled grenades. Anti-tank systems. The kind of hardware that does not go to security contractors. The kind that goes to wars. You say no. He doubles the offer. You say no again. He sends you a government end-user certificate. Stamped. Signed. A national defense ministry listed as the buyer in a country you have to look up on a map. You look it up. There is a civil war there. Has been for 3 years. Both sides buying from whoever will sell. You look at the certificate again. It looks real. Maybe it is real. You approve the shipment. The payment comes through 3 shell companies across 4 countries. Your lawyer sets it up. Completely legal. Technically. You stop putting your name on certain documents. Your name stays on the office door. It disappears from the paperwork that matters. By year 3, you are not moving 50 rifles anymore. Tens of millions per shipment. Small arms. Ammunition. Armored vehicles. Surveillance systems. Buyers in 12 countries. Suppliers in 6. You go to conferences in Geneva and Abu Dhabi. You shake hands with generals and ministers. You drink expensive wine on rooftops and discuss stability with men who profit from the opposite. Nobody in that room looks like a criminal. Neither do you. Then the call comes that you will spend the rest of your life thinking about. New buyer. End-user certificate looks clean. But the shipping coordinates do not match any government facility. They match a militia camp in a region under international sanctions. Your logistics coordinator messages you at 11 at night. One question. Do you want me to proceed? $8 million. You sit with it for 4 hours. You type 2 letters. Go. 3 months later, you are watching the news. A village. 8 workers on screen. Bodies. A forensics team identifying the weapons used. Traced through a broker in Eastern Europe. Through a shell company in Cyprus. Through a logistics firm in Malta. The trail ends there officially. You know exactly where it ends. You pour a drink. You do not sleep. But you do not shut it down. Because by now you understand something you could not have explained to the person who carried that box to his car alone 3 years ago. There is always a stamp, always a certificate, always a licensed broker and a clean invoice between you and the moment the weapon gets used. The system was built this way long before you arrived. You are just someone who knows how it works. That is what you tell yourself on the flights between conferences. That is what lets you sign the next contract. The call that changes everything comes from a journalist. She has your name, corporate documents, shipping records, a photograph of you at a conference standing next to a man currently facing international war crimes charges. 24 hours to comment before it publishes. You call your lawyer. He says the legal exposure is manageable. The paper trail is clean enough. Criminal charges are unlikely. He says manageable like it is nothing. You hang up and sit in the dark for a long time. You think about calling her back, giving her something small, a comment that controls the damage. You decide to say nothing. That is your first mistake. The story runs on a Thursday morning. Your name is in the 4th paragraph, described as a licensed defense broker with alleged links to sanctioned networks. Alleged. Your lawyer was right about that much. But by noon, your 3 biggest clients have sent termination letters. By 2 in the afternoon, your compliance officer has resigned by email without a phone call. By 5, your lawyer calls to tell you a government oversight committee has formally requested your business records going back 4 years. You sit in your office with the city behind you, and you think about the box HR handed you 3 years ago. 3 months' pay. You would take that deal right now without hesitation. The committee request is just the beginning. Within 2 weeks, there are 3 separate investigations running simultaneously. A federal export control inquiry, an international arms trafficking task force operating across 5 countries, and a parliamentary committee in one of the countries you ship to that is trying to trace exactly how sanctioned militias got their hands on weapons bearing legitimate export certificates. Your lawyer is no longer talking about manageable. He is talking about strategy. There is a difference. Then your old colleague calls. The one who gave you the first deal. The 50 rifles. The $20,000. His voice is different now. Quiet. Careful. He says certain people are concerned about what you might tell investigators. They want to meet. Somewhere quiet. Just to make sure everyone is on the same story. You ask what happens if you are not interested. He goes silent for a long moment. Then he hangs up. For the first time since this started, you feel something you have not felt before. Not fear of investigators. Not fear of courts. Fear of the people on the other end of those shipments. You call your lawyer that same night and tell him everything. Every shipment. Every shell company. Every coordinate you knew did not match. The 2 letters you typed at midnight. Go. He tells you there is one way out. Walk into the federal task force voluntarily. Bring everything. Every record. Every contact. Every route. You will lose the business. The money. Your name attached to a cooperation agreement for the rest of your life. But you walk away. You go in the next morning. 6 months later, 14 people are indicted across 4 countries. 2 of them are names you recognize from rooftops in Geneva. One of them is your old colleague. Your business is gone. Your name is permanently attached to one of the largest arms trafficking cases in a decade. But you are breathing. You think about the phone call you almost did not answer. The 50 rifles. The $20,000. 3 months behind on rent. You said yes before he finished the sentence. Every single thing that followed was just the next logical step. Each one reasonable. Each one explainable. Each one a little further than the last. The paperwork was always clean. That was never the point.